this idea came up of a festival, a celebration of the violin, because I'm always looking for different ways to express myself through the violin.
The idea to work with Noah was crystal clear immediately. As somebody who, first of all, is a world-class musician, is an incredible violinist, but somebody who really stretches the limits of his playing by exploring outside of the classical world.
One of the important things in doing a residency is that it's not simply, a visiting soloist or artist coming into town the day before the concert with one rehearsal, and then they play the concert and they jet out the next day. Doing a residency, in this case, more than a week, gives the opportunity to get involved with more aspects of the community.
That's the tempo I would love to play it at.
We can do that, right? Yeah, we can.
And then simply culturally, to have an experience that within a week, you can attend 5 different musical programs of such diversity and quality, to me is very, very special.
I never like to get too comfy and settled in what I'm doing. That's why I search out, opportunities to play outside of my orchestra job as well. We did the Alt ASO concert where we had the idea to really cover a huge breadth of different musical styles. So we played a classical set with Vivaldi, Bach, Chrysler, but then also went into bluegrass and country kind of fiddling, and then into Eastern European folk music and the klezmer music that is so dear to me and that I've worked a lot with. And just showing that how the instrument is used in these different styles and how it expresses emotion and ideas, whether it's written on the page in a classical composition or improvised in a more folk tradition. And then the solo violin recital, which is sort of a huge challenge for myself too. The idea of this program was to have a snapshot of violin repertoire and what was challenging on the violin from the time of Bach, and I start with a Bach solo sonata all the way to the 21st century. I played a Paganini, which is a romantic virtuoso tradition, and then I'll also have a piece by John Corigliano that is sort of a challenging violin caprice, but also takes into elements of fiddling and bluegrass music. So these different challenges for the violin and different settings for the violin, as distilled to its most pure form, just one violin on stage. And that's where the Bartók fit in, and it has this amazing connection to Asheville history. Bartók spent 9 months here in the winter of 1943-1944. He was sent down here at the suggestion of his doctors, and they sent him to Asheville, and he composed during that time a number of works, including the solo sonata, which was commissioned by Yehudi Menuhin and premiered by Menuhin. And at the very end of the score, he writes 14th of March, 1944, when he was in Asheville. And that's 80 years to the day from the solo violin recital I'm playing, which is quite a coincidence, I think. So the opportunity to do all of those in one place intensively is really exciting, and it's a really great challenge for me. And then also the educational activities.
Education is such an important part to what we do at the Asheville Symphony, and the Asheville Symphony Youth Orchestra is at the heart of that.
When I was playing with Noah, it was really great to see, how he was playing the pieces that we were working on, and sort of his technique, but also his emotion and a lot of the expressiveness that he puts into the music.
Having Noah, who is the concertmaster of one of the world's great orchestras, of the Berlin Philharmonic, come to the Asheville Symphony Youth Orchestra and sit in that chair and perform with them opens up that world.
Well, bravo!
Great.
Let's
The reason the orchestra exists is to deepen the cultural impact of music in a community. The reason we do what we do is because we inspire. We seek to inspire.
Hopefully, people are inspired and challenged by a residency like this, tackling different types of music in different venues, but hopefully it then touches more people's lives.